thing. Like playing against these Skyrats, and we saw it last series with the Zeus. You want to be able to kill these heroes. If they're allowed to just sit back and cast all their spells in a team fight, that's not good. That is the weakness of these heroes, is getting jumped on, and they have no defensive capability. So, like, I don't think Tiny alone is enough, because he's not necessarily gonna be able to jump the Skyrath. He's kind of the guy in front.
Is it hard picking another spirit or something jump wise because you have that silence on Sky now?
It's hard, but not impossible. I think. I mean, you're picking Void here. You've got some good team fight. It's a classic for 23 Savage. But now you're playing Void into Skyrath. That can be rough as well. But the time dilation can be really nice, particularly in the laning stage.
Gosh, if this was Boom right now, I would actually think this snap was core, because Yopaj used to pick it into Ember because he really liked the matchup. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what Talon want to do. I would probably like the Tiny to be mid, but I wouldn't mind seeing Snap there. They're very flexible. Yeah, I'm liking a lot of the synergy right now in Talon though. They have so much like BKB piercings, like disable. They have a lot of synergy between their spells. They got good like damage. Everything's looking pretty good. I like both. Yeah.
But I was going to say that I like all those things, but at the same time, they have to be careful not to get run over, which is what RSG are really good at, and they've got the heroes to maybe do that.
Yeah. The Faceless, though, like, Marcy, one of her strengths is, like, pulling you out of position and all this, but Faceless doesn't mind that because he can just time walk out. So the lane, I mean, it is still scary because if he gets an early point in silence, but usually you don't skill, like, concussive into the silence. It's kind of weird.
He's going to need, I mean, mid-game, he's going to need BKB, like, second item. Like, you're playing against Ember, Sky, Marcy. Like, there's no doubt about it. He probably goes Maelstrom BKB.
I genuinely think there's room, like, if Talon want to do, like, Faceless carry, Snap mid, and then, like, Enigma, Tiny off lane, I think they actually have space for, like, an Abaddon in their lineup that just will let Faceless have a completely free game.
Oh, with the Snap mid or Tiny mid, you're saying?
Yeah.
And then they pick Abba support or something.
Yeah, I think that could be really strong for them. Because it just like removes all of the like threat from RSG. Because like if he's just behind like say Faceless, they can't like chains him in place. They can't silence him. The only problem will be dispose, making Abaddon have to like commit into a fight. But his life's not going to be at risk. It's just whether he gets to the cast range.
I think that maybe for me the one of the slight risks is just like you've got some control for Ember, but like he's just going to be jumping backline and wreaking havoc in some ways.
For sure.
But we'll see. Right now they're protecting the Ember, at least banning Puck Necro. Like even though Ember has a good matchup versus Puck, Mikoto Puck has just been amazing this entire tour, and it's to me it fits what Talon. One of the gaps in their draft, which would be being able to jump this Skyrath and also having a bit more control for Ember.
Yeah. If this is like if they are looking for a mid right now on Talon, they've done a pretty good job of banning out his heroes. Like his Lina, his Bat, his Puck have been really strong this patch, but he's also played like Void Spirit. He's played the Pango. He's also played I mean I guess Ember's been stolen, but he's been playing a little bit of that as well.
I was going to say, let's have a look at RSG because they are going to be the first picks out of this. And is there anything you feel that lineup is really missing or something that needs to tie it all together?
If this was start of the tour, they were picking a lot of Bloodseeker. There's actually a Div 2 team, Army Geniuses, who have been spamming Bloodseeker plus Skyrath and just fighting with it. They go Monkey. This is just tempo carry. I think it's not the Bloodseeker, but it's a similar kind of idea where it's like we don't want to get something too greedy. We're not looking to scale. We're going to lose team fight. Like they're not drafting to match up against Void, Enigma, Snapfire team fight. They're drafting more pickoff style. That's how Zhao Yu's Marcy likes to play. He's going running around the map looking for kills by himself half the time, or just with Skyrath. Monkey King does the same thing. It's a vision hero. Even in the carry role, you're still often trying to set up for your team off the trees with Boundless Strike. To me, it fits what RSC want to do. It's kind of this cool clash where one team is way better team fight, the other is going to have vision and pick off.
Yeah, it is also like an amazing way to in the early game to cancel Black Hole and Snapple if needed. Like the stun is so long range. Yeah, that's just normal.
Spirit.
Yeah.
We're not very excited about the Spirit.
Yeah, it's just like of the heroes that were banned and what he has
Yeah.
left this patch, this is like probably the best one.
Well, that's why I asked about the silence on Sky as well, if it would have deterred them. It clearly doesn't. They pick up that void, and we're also going to get to introduce our casters for this very hyped series. It is Mike and John, two very hyped casters.
Ooh.
Guys, are you liking the giraffes on Talon RSG? John, is this as wacky as last series? Are you like, nah, this is so stable. They're looking good.
This is pretty stable. You know, it's nothing too left field from either side. At the least, Talon gets some comfort picks here. 23 Savage faces Void as some of his specialties, but RSG also gets to pick up that Exalurn Ember Spirit. So I think it's a lot of back and forth, and just goes back to what we saw last time in Div 2. This should be a close match between these two teams.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you are muted.
Yeah.
We cannot hear you.
God
And
damn it.
we can lip read though. We've done this before.
Okay,
he's
hang
like, oh, despair.
What hero's trash?
Well, I was
Wait.
about to say, but what I can say is Skywrath is not trash. I love that hero. It's fantastic. It's going to steamroll this game. It's going to be the MVP. That's exactly what Mike said.
Mike, hold up one hand for Talon and two hands for RSG.
Perfect.
My
We got
man.
him. Now what are you doing? How many hands are you holding up?
Obviously, I go
How
with
many hands are you holding
Prediction.
Mike
Mike
Lip prediction. Let's go, Mike
baby.
Lip prediction into game one. Talon and RSG.
He's still muted.
All right, Mikey's still muted up, so I will lead his lips for you guys. Vote of confidence for RSG. RSG did beat out Talon 2-0 last time around, but, you know, this is reinvigorated Talon. It's also reinvigorated RSG, so I'm keen to see which side holds up. We'll have Mike in later. You're going to be stuck with JohnXfire once more with play-by-play. Mike LaPhoenix currently experiencing some mic issues, as he tends to with himself. I'm sure he'd give his nod of approval with that little pun. Smoke on smoke action to break out here. Onto the mid. Hide smoke does break out. No wards being dropped, so no D wards come in as well. Roger is ready with the obs though. And they also dropped their obs here in Talon. That is spotted out by RSG. They should have a clue. And Talon gonna hold their own side of the river. RSG gonna be walking across looking to snipe additional runes. So they should be able to grab a couple of extras here.
Hello, John.
Unless... Hello, Mike.
Oh,
Welcome back.
Good to see you can hear me, John. I'll take over from here. It looks like they are going to fight down bot. Zhao Bon going to cop the avalanche from Q, and Savage will move in. Though Zhao Bon he actually has some help coming in. Straight off the bat here at RSG. They want to go for the level 1 team fight. Onto Makoto they go. But it does seem like they are going to be forced to back off just a little bit. Jonathan, my apologies to the viewers in the panel who couldn't hear me earlier on. As you know, things tend to go very wrong for me these days, and unfortunately something else went wrong, but we're here. Good news.
Yeah, nothing should go wrong with this matchup. Should be exciting. Should be quite the fight between both teams. Already have a pretty strong start for RSG. It does look like they'll start with a 3-1 on the Bounty Rune trade. So going to be feeling good going into those lanes. Keen to see how the lane matchups work. Again, if you look at that last match they had in Div 2 in the last tour, I believe that was a 2-0 win for RSG. So it kind of like what we saw from Talon when they played against Fnatic. It kind of showed itself in that Div 2 match where Talon just kind of couldn't play the game almost, and RSG just dominated. So I'm keen to see if Talon's learned enough from back then. They do look like a different team. So does RSG though. Like they've improved massively both sides, and of course, if RSG wins, that could force out some tiebreakers, giving them still a shot at the major, depending on how other results go. So very important for RSG to find that. And for Talon, obviously don't want to have to force tiebreakers, would rather just have a tiebreaker with Boom. Let's see if they manage to hold out here, Mike.
Yeah, man, it's one thing you can't forget either, John. Obviously, Gary would have, I believe he tweeted it today. He is really rooting for RSG in this series. So it is going to help them secure first place on the side of Boom. If RSG were to pull off this win, knowing you, Jonathan, I mean, obviously, you know, the Talon CEO himself, obviously, you're very unhappy with Gary's words.
You know, Gary, he's having a time of his life himself for unrelated issues. So, you know, let him have this one, because I'm sure he's also having a good time dealing with certain things, still taking a look at these lanes and how they're dealing with them. Up top, MKS is on his Monkey King that we've seen several times, along with Roger on his Warlock. So another comfort pick for Roger. Not the flashiest here. They'll start on to Q.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble, but looks like he's going to be fine. MKS not bothering to go for the Boundless Strike there. Meanwhile, bottom lane Hide's in massive trouble right now, looking to be the first blood of Xiao Yu. Able to pick it up on the Pos 3 Marcy. Great start for him. It was a real pleasure to get that first blood bonus if you are playing offlane Marcy of all things, and it should make Savage's life just a little bit harder here down at this bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily contest onto Void. You can try to threaten down the line with the Dispose. Heck, you can even trade with a sidekick. It's not like the bashes are too reliable from Savage, and he doesn't even have them leveled up. And there's not too much you can really do to stop Xiao Bonbon. He has great range, spam out the concussive, you can just run down the Snapfire. You have to be careful a little bit about the distancing. If he does manage to gap close with a cookie and the blast, you don't have armor to trade right clicks, but you can just spam your spell from a mile away. And you really just can't stop that. That's one of the strengths of Sky. In a great lane, you can just drain your mana pool, be fine, reset, come back in, and spam again, and just buy so much space for your core.
Yeah. Well, how's that mid lane matchup going? Like, it's a classic Void Spirit versus Ember Spirit matchup here between Exilern and Makoto. A very, very even matchup. John, is there anything in particular, apart from Power Runes, that we need to watch out for? Because I know the default answer is just Power Runes.
Support rotations are big, you know, which kind of relates to the Power Runes. I guess the timings you're looking for, item-wise, is the early Orb of Corrosion for Exilern and whoever hits level 6 faster. Like Ember, with Orb of Corrosion does feel a lot stronger than the Void Spirit early to mid game, because the Void Spirit is going to go like Phase Boots, a Null, maybe a Kai build, maybe a Eul's, maybe an Orchid, depending on the game. And it's just a lot more farm in comparison to Ember, who just really needs Orb of Corrosion, Phase Boots to run around and do damage. So that's going to be the key timing. And you know, we'll see if Exilern is willing to play around that early tempo the Ember can give once that's up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this guy's a star Ember player, if anything, right? Like, we know Exilern, this is one of his best heroes, and as the panel pointed out, Jonathan, he is the birthday boy. Whether the birthday buff exists or not, you've got to wish him happy birthday, Jonathan. And of course, while we're on that topic, happy birthday to my pro Dota as well. It's like we've been kind of ignoring him for a while with those birthday messages, John, but I feel like he deserves it.
Yeah, it definitely does. Very happy birthday to Exilern. No Bojo!
Oh,
Don't
Roger.
Bojo!
Hold on a minute here, John. Roger's in trouble, top lane. Might go down, but he is healing up. Just not going to be enough as MKS. Well, he tried to Primal Spring in and help out, but he does at least walk away with the Eidolon gold. So you get a little bit of a bonus there for MKS, but certainly going to be a very nice pickup for the side of Talon up at top lane.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
something you don't really mind, well.
Yeah, Makoto, he's in massive trouble right now. No level 6 yet. Xiao Bonbon might actually have enough damage, but not quite. Makoto barely getting away in time with the stick charges and is going to be able to survive, but that's going to allow Exilern to take another water rune for himself, and that's going to be happy days here for RSG in the mid lane as they go again with the concussive shot. Makoto just can't catch a break. They even got the fatal bonds off just in case they needed it. I love that, John. The fake back from RSG and the return back in from the supports, and this time they brought 2 instead of 1.
And we heard Ohio say it in that interview, right? They're looking to slow down Mikado's pace. They're emphasizing that mid lane very hard, getting some early rotations in. The Warlock, not something you expect to go into that mid early on, but you just see the opportunity. You know you can play a little bit with your sustain, a little bit of that damage from Fatal Bonds, and you can just set up. Mikado, he opts to play a little bit, you know, the standard Void, no dissimulate level, but that is costing him. You can't dodge out from, say, Slight. You can't dodge out from the plays that Exilern will want to pull off. And he's just kind of sitting duck when they do commit with that silence. So they're making great use of the Skyrat Mage here on RSG, just getting that tempo going. And if they do start to slow down that Void Spirit, we've seen some games where the Ags timing, the Eul's or Orchid timing's just thrown off so hard, you don't feel like you have impact.
He's in big trouble here, John. Makoto, once again, going to be chased down. Still not level 6 either. They can't secure the kill this time, but Xiao Bonbon is sticking around just to try and secure something. Skew, a very nice toss back onto the Skyrath Mage. Might mean an easy kill here as Makoto. He's going to salve up now. Xiao Bonbon going to get punished for his insolence as they go mid lane onto Exilern. He's still level 5 as well. This is not a good trade at all for RSG. Great rotation from the supports of Talon. Oh, and they really punished them there, John. That's going to be big issues from RSG now.
And if you a couple of kills, big kill on Exilern this time. Unfortunately, the kills did go to Hyde, but you don't actually mind too much. You do want the Snap to get some levels, some items as well early on, so not the worst thing in the world. You definitely prefer it to be on Mikado, but that's the level 6 timings we're talking about, right? Like, whoever hits level 6 first will have that avenue for aggression. Mikado finds it a little bit earlier because RSG committed that 3-man mid a lot earlier as well. So you're seeing the advantage already there. They could still try again. The silence from Sky is still pretty big, but at least with the dissimulate once that fades, Mikado does have an avenue out.
Bit of a jump there onto Savage, John, but they won't go all the way. They just weren't in range to get the dispose off there with Zhao Yu, so he'll back himself out. Speaking of that bot lanes, Savage not doing too bad of a job farming here on that Void. Second in CS only to the Monkey King of MKS, and Well, he's having an even better time on that Monkey King right now, as it just feels like nobody's pressuring him whatsoever.
I mean, it's an Enigma lane for KP, right? All he has to play with is really just Demonic Conversion and Creep Wave. That's something the Monkey King can also clear out with a Tree Dance and with a Boundless Strike, and of course the Fatal Bonds when we were seeing Roger in that lane. So you just kind of accept that your offlane's a bit slower down bot again, though.
Yeah, Xiao Bonbon gonna end up dropping Hyde, able to land the cookie to set up, and so Savage, he can hold on to that Chrono now and wait for the next kill attempt. And with that Chrono, you may as well try to hunt down Zhao Yu on the Marcy if you can. For now, though, Zhao Yu does back his way out and probably just understands that if he does get chronoed with a support or two around, chances are he is going to die. And you can see both supports down to that bot lane ready to go whenever. The Zhao Yu now will spot out Q on the Tiny, and well, actually, there might be a toss back to come right into Hyde, and now Savage, he will join in. Zhao Yu, he'll go for a run, but they have the cookie to follow up, and eventually Zhao Yu surely dies here. Sidekick is out. No, they let him go. He pops the Unleash, he pops the sidekick, and Savage just wasn't confident he'd have the damage.
And they also saw the TP coming in, was quickly cancelled off when they didn't see the commitment, but there was the possibility for a turnaround here from RSG, so they play it safe. Ooh. They are starting to gank around here, though.
Yeah, Talon, he's going to show up. They had vision of this happening in Q. Well, he's not dead yet. He's trying to run, but Savage, even rotating over on the Void now, is going to pick up Zhao Bonbon. They'll try and chase down Roger. RSG, a little bit too confident with these rotations, are going to get punished heavily by the side of Talon once again, as Roger will give another kill the way of 23 Savage now in the Void. The only saving grace right now for RSG is the fact the Monkey King is still free farming, but that's really the only saving grace.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting some room out for MKS. You're allowing them to build up real quick into the Echo Saber. The thing is, though, your Monkey King is going for a more fighting build, right? Like, the Echo Saber build-up does mean you want to join your team early on, play with a Tree Dance, play with the Vision. Whereas for Savage, he's going for just the good old Maelstrom into BKB. Maelstrom will allow him to farm a little bit more. If Talon does want to drag this game a lot longer with her Faceless Void, which they can do, it scales really well, and then you're kind of set up a little bit better here on Savage to keep that farm game up. And even if your Monkey King's free farming, you actually aren't stopping KP from finding too much of his own farm as well. Considering his lane, he's still matching Xiao Yu's farm, and all of the cores are kind of evenly farmed. So you've still got to deal with these Enigma timings that KP's still looking to meet anyway.
Yeah, they certainly have very strong mid to late game times here, Talon, and RSG certainly very well aware of this. Don't want to drag the game out too long, that's for sure. Going back to that Enigma pick as well, I mean, you've always got the Golem drop to kind of cancel the Black Hole off, but you don't really want to just rely on that. Like, there's going to come a stage where KP, in fact, hold down Thor, because top lane, the Monkey King, MKS, he's going to get jumped. KB, he'll pop the Black Hole immediately, and Roger, he doesn't have that Golem yet. MKS still trying to run the hell out of there, but Makoto able to take a very valuable kill here for Talon. RSG once again just unable to rotate to help out in time, and it's kind of one of the weaknesses. In fact, hold that thought, because now bot lane, Zhao Yu gets caught out. Savage, I mean, he has the chrono if he wants to throw it out, and he might just need to. Barely surviving in time, but needs to get out of there. He cannot keep going. In fact, Zhao Yu able to take the kill anyway. It's the second time they've tried to jump this Marcy, but Zhao Yu always able to turn and fight back, and this time around finds the life of Savage.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard game to go for those solo pickoffs on the Marcy until you are kind of ready to tie in with your sports down mid, though.
Yeah, mid lane, Roger. Now going to be chased by Makoto. You heard Ohio in those play interviews, John. He did believe Makoto. He's a massive, massive issue in this team of Talon, and they want to try and slow him and shut him down. But at least for now, Makoto 2-1-4 is the scoreline, and it doesn't seem like he's really been shut down whatsoever.
He's getting the build-up he wants. He's already working onto the Yule, so...
Yeah, Q now in a bit of danger as Zhao Yu. In fact, XC Learn will want to take the kill on the Ember. RSG, John, they're getting warmed up.
Yeah, it's just that spike for Exilern. Phase Boots or Corrosion up. Tiny has no armor until he gets Grow. No value point there for Q just yet. Still about to hit the 6 mark. While that happens, they're starting to clump up top. No kisses left on Hyde. He did use that down mid, and no Black Hole. It's still from KP. Pretty massive cooldown, so not going to able to fully commit. But they're just playing around their faces for it, right? They drag Savage to farm up here. He's almost got his Maelstrom up. They'd want to leave him away from that tough lane down bot solo, and they surrendered to tier 1. Tower advantage for RSG early on, but another smoke out here from Talon. Always playing around Mikado.
Yeah, RSG. Well, at least they want to try and chase down Zhao Yu here on the Marcy. Xiao Yu's got no help around him, but he does sense that something is a little bit awry, so he's going to try and back his way out. Line's been drawn though, they know exactly where he's gone. Xiao Yu, he'll go back for the small cap, but Makoto gonna make a jump in and a perfect remnant. Lock him down and take him out. That's a big one. Xiao Yu just having too good of a game recently, and well, they will get rid of him. With that, Talon now sitting at 9-4, but there is still a very slight net worth lead the way of RSG.
Yeah, they're still working the map a lot better. They've managed to give him a lot freer for lane for MKS. He's just feeding off the Eidolons every single time they show up. KP's not able to stop that at any way at all. And I think for Talon, it does feel like all of their momentum's really just coming off the back of Mikado. You can't rely too much on Void just yet. Maybe once you have the Maelstrom, it feels good. You really need the BKB this game, it feels like, because of the Sky, because of all the stuns that can reach you from outside Chrono if you don't manage to catch certain heroes. And for RSG, it does feel like their aggression's also starting to kick in. I mean, Excelern's pretty much ready to go, going for his own Maelstrom. Xiao Yu's just rushing that BKB onto Marcy. It's going to be hard to interrupt him every time he goes for a play, as you don't really have anything that pierces BKB outside of Chrono and Black Hole, and those are massive cooldowns just to deal with the offlane BKB usage in team fight. So it's going to force Talon to make a couple of choices. They are grouping up mid, but can't really poke and prod too hard. Savage is still hanging around that area.
Oh, he absolutely is, John, and well, Savage, even with just the Javelin up, can offer a lot more damage now as the Void. In fact, they're going to smoke up with him. Question is, does Savage go for the fight? And it does seem like the answer is going to be yes. They're headed up towards MKS. Keep in mind they have the Mortimer's Kisses this time around, so there's plenty of damage output in the Chrono on Savage. He might have a very free Chrono to go, but no, KP. He's going to show up, and that'll scare off MKS for a moment. Do they wait around? I believe they may have been under vision for a moment, though they do make the jump in, and no, there's Savage. Is spotted out now. In fact, MKS has teammates coming in to try and force a fight here. Pump faking the Wukong's command already. In come the supports of RSG. They've got the Golem to try and set up, and they'll move onto KP on that Enigma. Silence is there with the Mystic Flare, and that'll be KP gone immediately. Nice read from RSG. And in particular, MKS for backing off. In fact, now Savage going to be chained up for a moment, but they won't be able to hold him down long enough. So Savage going to be fine to TP away. In fact, they're going down bot lane now onto Xiao Yu, but he's fine as well. He'll make a run, and he'll be out of distance. Rather out of range for Talon. They will not be able to follow up, and now look at this, Jonathan. A three-man smoke up. They'll run right towards Savage, but can they get him? In fact, never mind. They want Makoto. They want the Void Spirit. How do you set up, though? They're very reliant on those chains from Excelern into the ancient seal of Zhao Bonbon. Excelern will see him. Makoto. Oh, he gets chained up. There's your silence, but he's got the Yule Scepter available. Xiao Yu looking for a dispose. Does land it in time, and now they could drop the Golem, but they hold out. Makoto, he'll go for a run, but there's your upheaval. Your favorite spell, John. It's coming in clutch here from RSG. Or is it? Makoto still running, but not good enough. He will go down eventually. Zhao Bonbon, the one to take the kill on RSG's end. And that's a big one for the side of RSG.
Slump up, they get a successful smoke out in the biggest here. It doesn't feel like Savage is the issue. It is still Mikado kind of setting up the play, so you're stalling out that Ag's timing where Void will be able to deal with a backline. And as long as you prevent that from coming out too early, you're going to be set up with your own BKBs, at the very least on your cores. I think the key timing to watch out for down the line is the Ember BKB up against the Void Spirit Ag's timing. It does feel like Mikado should find that earlier. Again, you've still got the Maelstrom being built up here by Excelern. And the bright side for Talon is Savage is farming. He's got the Maelstrom up, so the farm acceleration should kick in a little bit faster. But you are also not stopping MKS. You got that one kill. He's still camping up top. He's still allowed to build up. Has the Echo Saber. Is working to his own Maelstrom as well to keep some farming pace up. And there's just no real threat. The team fight spots are all there from Talon, but they can't really find the angle just yet.
Certainly not. MKS certainly going to be a very scary hero to go against later on as well. Like this Monkey King, it does scale very nicely, even if it doesn't have a spell like Chrono or Black Hole that can, you know, just go through everything. Wukong's command is still a big deal, and how hard the Monkey King hits. Got to be worried here as Talon, just about how well MKS has been farming this game. And we talk about MKS, but Excelern's right behind him in net worth, John. He's having a great game on the Ember. Even though he kind of had a bit of an awkward laning phase against Makoto, things are still going very well as top lane. There could be a very big team fight to break out. They do land a Boundless Strike onto Hyde, but he's standing his ground for now as the chains are there. But Savage, he's riding the tree line right now, but MKS not going to cop the Chrono yet. Hyde in trouble. Now they've got KP on the Enigma. They're going to get two of them. RSG just sneaking up from the backside, catching another. Just not allowing a chrono opportunity for Savage.
And they're also not giving Savage too much room to farm. He's hanging around in these hot spots. He's just not AFK farming as you probably would want to do on Void. He's looking for some aggression. And they are still looking out here on RSG. They managed to get a nice ward to block off the Ancient camp. So not going to have to spend some gold in the support to clear that out. They do have the blink up on Q. That could be a turning point here.
They're going to try at least onto Roger. They'll find the Warlock. That's something. It's definitely not the greatest kill in the world here for Talon, though. And it seems like Talon, they might try to force a fight by going after that top tier 1 tower. Whether RSG actually want to stick around and try to defend is a different question entirely, because they really don't need to. But now, well, they're going to find XC Learn right into the Remnant. They've got the Ember. And now Savage, he'd love the Monkey. He'll miss out on MKS, but he'll go after Xiao Yu instead. Wukong's command, however, is going to protect Xiao Yu. The Chrono, not quite what they wanted. With the Rod of Atos out now in the Mystic Flare, the Void in a bit of trouble, but the KP with the Black Hole, it's going to be cancelled off immediately. Makoto, he'll at least find Zhao Bonbon, and now Q comes in onto MKS. They'll get the Monkey King eventually, but no, not quite yet. MKS finally going down. They even found Xiao Yu on the Marcy. They'll get another. Jonathan, what the hell just happened at the top lane?
It's a messy fight, you know, not the best chrono coming out from Savage. Forced to run away with a Wukong's committal. Not the greatest black hole from KP, immediately cancelled off, but they still managed to find the angle. It was much more staggered coming in from RSG there. They've got this great Atos timing on Xiao Bonbon. It's just not quite enough to rip through Savage. Level 1 Mystic Flare right now with a max out Ancient Seal. Maybe by level 2 that could burn through Savage with that additional 400 damage over that time period. But that'll also align with Savage's build up into his BKB. Just lacking the recipe now. And Talon, they're starting to turn it a little. It's really even though. I can't really say turn. It's 14 to 8, 2k lead for Talon. Not the biggest net worth lead. MKS still kind of riding up top. Still waiting for the Maelstrom. Next step for RSG, still those BKB timings here, Mike. You need it in Excel Learn. You're going to want it on your Monkey King as well for MKS. And once you do have those BKBs, you basically just, it just boils down to usage of Black Hole and Chrono. And that's something RSG can play tempo around very well. They don't have many long cooldowns to play with to force these fights. Unlike Talon, where they're going to have to wait a minute, 2 minutes to be ready to go again when they spend any of these spells in an engagement.
That's very true, John. It's kind of the rough aspect of the draft from Talon is you really do have to have some patience with these spells, though at least they don't really if you're going after Roger. Roger does get caught out there, and Savage able to take his 3rd kill of the game on the Void. Happy days for Talon as it looks like they want to slowly chip away at the top tier 2 tower. In the meantime, though, down the bot side, another support pick off here for Talon. They'll find Zhao Bonbon this time around.
Just kind of scouting around in that bot jungle, trying to take control, giving a lot of room for Talon to just shove in that top. Tier 2 already down to 400 HP. The push potential of our Enigma is still pretty damn high. KP already has that full rate packed as well. So you're going to be reducing a lot of that output in the middle of these fights, which kind of feels painful when you're up against a Faceless Void, right? Like, he already has Time Walk to kind of refill and come back in and re-engage. With the rate pack up, bursting him down just becomes a lot harder of a prospect as well. RSG though, going for their own smoke play once again. See if they find something in the tree, man.
Yeah, XC Learn, he'll lead the way. Down towards the bottom side. Oh, they could run into Savage. This could be big, but no, Savage, he does run towards the base instead of going for that large camp. Smart decision there from the Void, even without this information. He's still hanging around, John, but you can tell Savage, he knows something's wrong here. Just doesn't feel right. With how far Xiao Yu's playing in the mid lane, they know that there's probably a smoke on the other side of this mid lane. His Hyde is going to scout it out now, but does have the Force Staff to get away. No pressure for Hyde. And Talon, they've done a very good job at avoiding this gank. I think maybe even Xiao Yu just a bit too far forward. So it did look kind of obvious after Xiao Yu popped up that deep in the mid lane.
He's sort of isolated now, though.
That he is. In they go. Aether Lens is out. Xiao Yu not having the help around him quite yet, but they are just slowly chipping away. They don't trust that RSG actually left the area. So Xiao Yu not going to drop. Still, both teams being just very, very cautious not to give the opening the other team wants.
Yep, just super safe plays from both sides. This is giving Talon some room to start onto Roshan. Savage getting to work to it by himself, has the BKB ready. Great scan as well from Talon to figure out where RSG's standing. So the angle for RSG to come back in, it's very protected for Talon. They have some great obs watching that path onto Roche. They've got enough time to back off. Chrono and Black Hole are up as well. Could be awkward for RSG to step in here.
It doesn't seem like Talon want to be the ones to counter-initiate, though, with their own draft. Like, they kind of want to have the opening, rather than giving RSG a way to kind of make a formation around the Roshan pit and make it too hard to get a Black Hole or a Chrono off. In we go, though. Roger immediately caught out. That's your only way of cancelling a BKB Black Hole. And now Xiao Yu also caught. He pops his BKB, but he's already gone. Savage tries after XC Learn, but he's going to be just fine to walk away with the tiny kill. But now in a 4v3 scenario, without a proper way to cancel Black Hole, you've got some issues here as RSG.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to contest well in the Roshan. RSG understands that as well. They're just kind of holding on to the mid. They could try for a sneaky snag, but Excellent with no BKB means you're kind of susceptible. And again, you're dealing with Black Hole and Chrono. Lots of ways for Talon to kind of save there. They've also managed to be very patient enough to give Mikado his Ags. So what we were talking about earlier, jumping the back line, taking care of the Skyrath Mage, getting a big silence off is going to be big.
Savage, he's popped his BKB. He's forcing a fight on his own, but won't go for the Chrono yet. In fact, no, they got the 8th, the Remnant. Oh, Mikado.
Oh my God.
How does he know, John?
He just knows. He's got Spidey sense. They see where he might have jumped out. They get a good read, and they don't even have to blow big spells. Talon have been able to find these big kills without using that Black Hole, without using Chrono, and that's the biggest weakness of their draft, those cooldowns. They're not using them, which makes it a little bit more awkward for RSG to try to find an angle because of that threat of turnaround, and it just kind of slows that pace RSG wants to have. 4K lead for Talon up now, going for that mid-tier 1 to even out map control with RSG, and with the Aegis protection on Savage, you can opt to do a lot. They do, again, have that fresh Ags up on Mikado. The silence is going to be big and kind of working things around. Heck, even the Force Staff on Hyde, we've already seen it be impactful. Cancels out that combo with the Skyrat Mage, Mystic Flare. It's not going to be holding people down. You have chain stuns, but as long as Hyde's around with a Force Staff, it's probably not an issue for Talon at all.
Absolutely not. A 5K net worth lead towards Talon now. Both top 2 cores in the net worth board being Savage and Mikado. They might group up and keep going here, John, with a big smoke up here from Talon. You've got every spell you could ask for in the kit here for Talon. They just need to know where somebody is, and there's your 5-man smoke now. They want a big team fight, but it might just end in a solo pickoff. It's just a matter of who they get. MKS, don't show him that mid lane right now, sir. This is dangerous. But they won't make the jump in quick enough. MKS, he's going to be fine to clear out the creep wave and back his way out, but Talon, they are still chasing him down. They know exactly where he's gone, so Mikado will make the jump in. Roger, he's not going to drop the golem. It wouldn't help anyway. He'll just back his way out as they pick off the carry of RSG and Mikado. He wants a little bit more, but he doesn't have the step charges for it.
Yeah, they're finding the big kills without having to expend their big ults. At the least, RSG has a safety net up. BKB up on Exelern, so you will have to commit to his big spells to catch out the Ember. Mikado's not going to be able to ambush, although
forcing the BKB out early of XC Learn, but now Xiao Yu's around. Still Savage is going to join in with the Chrono. It only catches one, and it's only Xiao Yu, but it's still a great pickup unless they'll drop the Golem, try to counter-initiate, but nobody's dying yet. XC Learn, he's trying to chase down Hyde, but Mikado, he's going to save the day once again. In the meantime, KP's gone, but XC Learn, he will soon follow. Oh, he tried to chase down Hyde, but Mikado was having none of it. Hyde survives another day. You go for more. Jia Bonbon, Avalanche toss combination. It's not quite enough yet. In fact, Savage, he'll lose the Aegis, but Mikado, he'll be the cleanup crew Talon needs to find Jia Bonbon as they dispose Savage. He's dropping low, but still alive into the Time Walk. Hyde, this time with the Force Staff. He's going to save the day, and now Q right back in with the Avalanche toss combination. Savage always sees MKS. They'll get the Yule Scepter off, but MKS now, he's just forced to fight this one. He knows he can't get away. On Talon, they are really cleaning up here, John. Poor old
Savage.
Roger. He was the last piece of the puzzle, but Savage, he just wanted to finish that puzzle off, John. He gets it done.
You have to appreciate Hyde here, man. We were talking about that Force Staff earlier. He manages to stall out that fight when they force out the BKB from Exelern with the Cookie, with the Force Staff. Save Savage again in that fight with the Force Staff. You know what? Profile picture Hyde has right now, Mike? He's
What's
got
that,
the
John?
Giga Chat on.
Oh.
And you know, KP, when I met up with the boys, they were like, oh, Hyde's a Giga Chat. He's showing off here right now with his support plays.
Let's see, John. Makoto's in trouble. It looks like he's just going to walk out like an actual Giga Chat. Just walk away. XE learn. Could not hold him down, and well, Hyde, he really has been a Giga Chat this game, John. I mean, support Snapfire 7-2-11 is the scoreline, and now Avalanche tosses out. Zhao Bonbon already just gonna melt to the Mortimer's kisses. Zhao Yu, he's gonna try and at least find the Snapfire, but the Force Staff and the Glimmer Cape into the reversal the other way, though. Exilern surely finds him. Oh no, the cookie! Oh, the cookie Hyde! How does he get out of that one?
He's a Giga Chat.
He's a Giga Chat.
It's what they all say in Talon. I don't know if it was an inside joke or something, but Hyde is showing off why the Snapfire was something that Talon used to pick up in Tour 1 when they were stuck in Div 2, all the way till now. It's just something Hyde's very comfy on. He used to play a lot with those melee range kisses, was, you know, patched out with spring cleaning. Still has a lot of impact. RSG, it's a bit rough right now. It's a 7k lead for Talon, but if you look at the net worth of each core, it's actually pretty even. So you're not too far behind. You've still got angles to play here for RSG. They still have that great BKB and Exilern. They're going to need that BKB to be finished up on MKS, and I believe he's flying it out now. So should have that at the ready. Going to be a little bit harder to lock in the Monkey King. But we said that about the Ember. Even if he does pop his BKB, Talon somehow manages a way to reposition and just wait until those 9-8 seconds are gone and come back in.
Zhao Yu, he's gonna jump in. Makoto, he'll get tossed back all the way. He'll be just fine to get himself out though. Chains out, but keep in mind, Black Hole and Chrono are both up right now, so Savage, he'll jump right back in. Onto Zhao Bonbon, he'll commit the Chrono. It's only onto one, but MKS, how do you turn this? The tree line, it goes down, and now the Black Hole. KP, he's caught two of them. They've got one down already, and that's going to be MKS right into Zhao Yu. They'll find another. XE Learn, it's all up to him to try to fight this one out, but he might be in trouble as well. The Aether Remnant, it's going to connect. Makoto can't miss. XE Learn, he's going to drop. Ancient Seal holding him down for a moment with the Yule Scepter. Gonna help him out as Makoto. He's not done yet, John. He wants more. He'll find Zhao Bonbon another time. Onto Roger. They want the full team wipe. Can he find it? Makoto, he'll have an Aether Remnant in just a moment, but he may not need it. He doesn't. Triple kill out from Makoto. 10-2-15. What a performance thus far from our Void Spirit. No wonder Ohio said he wanted to shut this man down.
And to be fair to RSG, they were trying, right? Like that early 3-man rotation. It just feels like the support duo they have on RSG, it's really effective in lane, especially that Skywrath Mage. But as you scale on, as you're dealing with BKBs, as you're dealing with all the mobility that's coming through from Talon, all the Force Staffs coming out, these two supports just don't offer enough of aggression. Right? You could try, perhaps, with Skywrath Mage, with the Atos, Force Staff counters it out. Chaotic Offering's nice, but it's also a massive cooldown, the longest cooldown RSG has, and it doesn't feel good to kind of hinge your entire gameplay onto just the Warlock Golem for teamfights. So it's a lot harder for RSG now to kind of come in. They're still really strong in single target pickoffs, but they're not able to find Talon split up. They're just kind of sticking together as 3 as 2 on Talon's end, and it just never is easy enough for RSG to just get the burst damage and back off.
RSG in a very tough position now, John. 12k behind. It just feels like no team fights are really going their way whatsoever, and I do kind of agree with you on that. Like, it's just very hard with the support duo to actually set something up properly. Like, you don't have a great way of locking anyone down really here for RSG. It's just so dependent on Exilern landing a nice chains, but you kind of just BKB that off. Ancient Seal, just BKB it off. Like, you've got nothing to really hold anyone down here from Talon, and they just barely survive every time. It's a real mess here for now. Like you mentioned though, RSG not out of this game yet. It's just a very challenging game number 1 now for them. They've really got to find a way to contest this next Roshan. I think that's kind of the issue here for RSG, is if they let Roshan go the way of Talon, this game, it starts to feel rather impossible.
Yeah, I mean, another secondary life potentially coming out onto Savage. It just feels impossible to pin him down, and we've seen Savage play without Aegis be really aggressive, diving to your forest. Good scan out from Talon, doesn't really line up for a kill as they walk out of it. And there was an early Roche scan as well from RSG, but Roche is still to spawn in 20 seconds. So we'll see if RSG managed to clump up. Again, with no scan, it could be hard to get a read on that. They don't have any aggressive or defensive wards from RSG, rather, to spot out any Roche movements here. So Talon have a pretty clear path onto Roche. However, RSG do manage to hit an items timing here, Mike. Ags up on Exilern, so our birthday boy is ready to go with his own remnant spam on the Ember. A lot more mobile with that BKB. It should be tougher for Talon to find it. Like, you shouldn't be able to get away with just not popping Black Hole or Chrono to catch the Ember. You're going to have to commit one of those big spells. Roche, though, does begin from Talon's end. And again, no scan being used. Already used up. RSG will smoke, though.
They've got everything right now, John. RSG. They've got absolutely everything in terms of spells they can ask for here to force this fight. Talon positioning themselves, getting ready for the incoming team they know are going to try and contest this. Roshan, a Savage, is going to be spotted out. Meanwhile, on the backside, Xiao Yu right onto KP. Get rid of that Enigma, but the Chrono, it's going to catch both supports on the side of RSG, and they are both gone. They'll buy back on the Warlock as the fight does continue. It's a 4-on-4 situation between these two teams. But Chrono's down, and Black Hole is unavailable as KP does not have buyback. It's a question of, do both teams kind of wait for the heroes to be back up, or do they go again? Well, Q, he might just go again here, John. Avalanche, it's not going to connect onto XC Learn. He'll make a move back in, but the toss back, rather the toss up onto XC Learn, going to be there as they've caught Makoto on the Void Spirit, but he's still fine. Meanwhile, XC Learn, oh, he's gone. They end up taking him out. And now without the Ember, how do you fight now?
It's tough. You don't have Wukong's up, you don't have the Golem drop. Fighting in that pit's gonna be difficult to find a great angle for RSG. At the very least, MKS is still around. You could maybe try to tree dance in with a BKB. And Talon, they don't take the Roche that fast. It's only Savage really hitting. Maybe Hyde comes in with a little shredder for some minus armor. Still not the quickest progress. Kudo doing a great job of just cutting off, holding that ramp, ensuring that RSG can't try for another smoke play. And that is buying the time Talon need for the Roche. Second Roche, when wave Talon ages up onto Savage. He already has his shards up, so we'll pass that along. And Q is already lining up for a kill if he finds one.
Yeah, and we go. Avalanche is out. Xiao Yu being caught. MKS, he's going to stick around and try and help out if necessary. Xiao Bon going to move in with a very nice Mystic Flare onto the Void Spirit of Makoto. He's going to drop. It's a great start for the fight now. As MKS, he'll go on to Q, but is it enough? Not without the Aeon Disc. Q, he'll keep trying to run. Instead, Savage right back onto Xiao Yu. Is going to find the Marcy, and they seem to know MKS, he's around here somewhere, so KP, he'll go for a Black Hole right onto the Monkey King. Where's the assistance? MKS, he was trying to chase down Hyde, but it's going to cost him his own life. See, we'll get him. You're just going to ask yourself, John, was it worth it in the end?
No, definitely not. Like, you forced out Black Hole, but Chrono is going to be off cooldown anyway for Talon because of that duration since the Roche fight, how long it took that Roshan to fall. And you still have to deal with 2 lives up on Savage. Like, yes, you found that kill in Mikado, but it's so much room for Talon to still get this play that they want. Although
he's trying so hard for KP here, John, and he might eventually find him. Oh, Chrono's available. Savage, he's going to move back in once again onto the Ember. There's no buyback. Bye-bye, Roger. That'll be a Warlock gone. A double kill for Savage, and they want the triple. Xiao Bon not going anywhere either, I don't think here, Jonathan. So he will stand his ground. He'll buy himself a little bit of time, but in the end, the triple kill will go the way of Savage. It's onto the high ground for Talon. RSG completely wiped out, and John, I keep asking myself how they're going to defend high ground.
Their high ground hold is there. You could play with Wukong's when you manage to execute a team fight. You could play with a Golem. Fatal Bonds is huge because of your AoE damage coming out from the Ember, from the Monkey King. It's just they can't find the angle. It's Talon taking the initiative. It's Talon finding RSG split up. And RSG aren't able to split up Talon. You have to be able to take away the Void first, isolate the Enigma somehow, get these things done, but they just can't.
Xiao Yu does at least delay the mid-ranks going down. The Q, he'll get it done himself. Look at the Giga Chat Tiny. He just moves right in. Savage gonna try and help out and go on to Xiao Yu, but the BKB's making it very difficult as MKS forced to pop the Wukong's command just to make sure they can at least get this Tiny. But Savage, he wants to keep going. Can they bash him up? Savage, you're getting a little bit low there. He'll time-lapse away, or rather time walk away. As MKS gonna run out of his BKB, so Savage thinking about jumping back in. But he always has the rewind button, so no real risk there for Savage. They'll get the mid-racks. It'll cost them the tiny, but they'll be happy with that.
Yeah, you have a huge advantage already here for Talon. 42 to 19, 16k lead for Talon. As RSG, they had a really good time early. And they had some great aggression on mid. It felt like MKS had pretty much a free lane against the Enigma, not really having to care about the Eidolons too much, clearing some of it out for farm. Savage.
Thinking about XC Learn, but the time dilation's not going to be enough. John, the thing is, Chrono's back up in 20 seconds. Like, so the next team fight, it should come rather soon here for Talon. In fact, they've got Black Hole up as well. Like, there's no reason to really sit back and relax.
Yeah, you can just take the initiative right now, and Blink coming out for KP. Oh,
that's a big pickoff. RSG, they'll be able to put a hold to any kind of smoke rotation now that comes out of Talon. Even with the Aegis up, they may not feel comfortable trying to force a fight without KP around.
They have double Black Hole here, double Chrono though, Mike. Refresh up on Savage, so you just have more control anyway. You don't really need the Black Hole to get much done.
We go onto the Skywraths. Xiao Bonbon, barely not dead yet, but eventually does get taken down, and now they've got the Marcy. They even have found MKS in the Chrono. Do they find him a second time? Not quite yet, but Savage, he moves in again. Look at the Chrono. He's caught both of them right next to each other, so they can die right next to each other. Onto the Monkey King. MKS, he cannot survive this. He will just melt a Savage. And Makoto, he's still going here, John. They might have to go back now. MKS will rejoin the team fight. Into the Wukong's command they go. The own disc on Q going to be procced as Makoto trying to find a way up at Savage. He's right back in, but has he gone too far? Not quite yet, as the rewind button is there once again for Savage, but he's getting bashed up here by MKS. Still going back onto Xiao Bonbon. He wants a Skywrath. He wants that dieback, but he's not going to find it yet. Onto the Void once again as the Aegis timing is still available. Savage still fighting as MKS. He's going to die back. Q will save the day. Onto Roger, onto the Skywrath. They are finding absolutely everything. RSG, they call it. They have had enough. Talon, I mean, they came in swinging, John. It's Exilon's birthday, but they knocked the door down and blew out his candles for this game one. Not very nice of Talon whatsoever, if you ask me.
Yeah, look, you know, it's the birthday buff isn't quite kicking in for RSG. Talon, they managed to hold out against that aggression early on. I still love seeing that aggression out from RSG, right? They went for that aggression onto Mikado. We heard Ohio. He said that tempo was coming from mid, and it did. Mikado did actually deliver the goods. It was a bit of a slower start for him. Buell's time was maybe thrown off a little bit from that aggression, but he still gets the rotations out. He hits level 6 earlier because they clump up on mid very early on, and just starts running around, gets the Ags timing, starts to build up, and you know, Talon, Mike, you said it well. Mike the prediction gave his hands up. Where are the hands now, Mikey? Where are they?
No. I was being held up, Jonathan. See, I was meant to put one hand up. My mum was trying to give me food at the time. I said, Mum, look, I can't. You know how it goes, John. She took the slippers off. She pointed it at me. I was hands up. I was held up there, and well, naturally, I'm never wrong, Jonathan. You know that. My predictions are always on target. We will have to head off to a very short break, Jonathan, and my prediction is we'll be back with a rather beautiful panel to see how game number 2's draft goes on. We'll see you then.